Are we live? We're live. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to.
I just want to make sure it goes to YouTube. We're good.
Good evening. Welcome to the special virtual meeting of the Warwick School Committee for Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. Pursuant to Executive Order number 20-05 issued by the Governor of the State of Rhode Island, this meeting will be conducted by electronic communication only. Members of the public wishing to access this meeting may do so at https://YOU-TU:/BE/F-ZBUS. This time I call the meeting to order. We vote to go into closed session for discussion and/or action regarding those items of business exempt from open meetings under general laws of Rhode Island, 42, 46-5, A1, A2, A4, A8, and A9.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're in closed. Good evening. We're live? Welcome to the Warwick School Committee special virtual meeting for December 1st, 2020. Pursuant to Executive Order number 20-5, issued by the Governor of the State of Rhode Island, this meeting will be conducted by electronic communication only. Members of the public wishing to access this meeting may do so at https://YOU:/F6TBOF-ZBUS. This time I call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Cobden, please lead us.
Sure.
Pledge
I pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag of the
to the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask for a motion and a vote to seal the minutes of the executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. There were no votes taken in executive session. At this time, we'll go to public comment. Ms. Bonin.
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the committee, I have 8 public comments this evening that were put forth through the new school committee public comment portal. The first one is from Allison Palm. She says, I am asking again that you please wait to send our kids back to school full-time until COVID cases are under control. You would be putting our children, teachers, and entire community at risk. I also do not believe you are as equipped as you claim to be to handle the increased volume of students and staff in the schools. I spoke with Ms. Dambrook on November 24th. I asked if the plan was still to send the kids full-time. She said yes. I asked if they were fully staffed since that had to be accomplished prior to resuming full day. She said yes, they were now fully staffed for a 4-day week and they had plenty of substitutes as well. 2 hours after that conversation, I got an email from our principal about one positive COVID case in our school. 2 hours after that email, I received another email stating that due to the positive case and staff shortages, our school would be switched to full distance learning for December 1st through 4th. Could you please explain how you can say you are fully staffed for a 4-day week if one COVID positive case has sent an entire school, currently on hybrid model 2 times a week, to full distance learning for a week? The last positive case in this school was November 14, meaning they would be past the 2-week quarantine on November 28. If you don't have enough staff now during hybrid for just one positive case, how could you possibly have enough staff for 4 days a week, which would require more staff than you have now? You want to send more kids and more staff into the schools. That means less space for social distancing, which will lead to more cases. Our school didn't have our first case until November 5, after all K through 5 kids were phased in for the hybrid model. More kids, more cases. Please wait. Thank you. Our next comment is from Shirley Yazigian. As I begin writing this comment, I had to stop and restart because of incoming information. A Rhode Island governor COVID alert imploring people to work remotely if they can to save lives and give hospitals some desperately needed relief. And then a RIDO COVID-19 report that Rhode Island is at a 9.2% positive test rate. These are two major indicators that cannot be ignored or downplayed. Warwick should not be moving forward on a 4-day in-person elementary program when the trends indicate increasing possibility of exposure and infection. Add to this the recent Human Resources memo that in an effort to reduce exposure and infection, we are taking measures to reduce the number of staff in schools while numbers are on the rise. So if you have someone on your building who can work remotely, please allow them to do so. The memo then goes on to suggest staff who already do not have contact with others, thereby in true survivor style, giving immunity idols to some staff while leaving those who are most vulnerable and exposed to continue to take daily risks. Despite the best and truly commendable efforts of cleaning staff, building aides, and all of those in contact with students and other staff, the reality is that incidences of contact continue to happen, resulting in positive cases, quarantining, and classroom and school closures. Though we are all doing our best to control the environment inside the schools, what we cannot do is control what our students and staff do, where they go, and what they are exposed to outside of school when they leave. And then ultimately, often unknowingly, what they are bringing back with them to the school buildings. Please be mindful of caring for all of your educational assets, students, staff, teachers, and their families. Next comment is from Anne Marie Gupton. I am a teacher in Warwick Public Schools, and I strongly urge you to wait until after the December holiday break to return us to 4 days a week in-person learning. That will give the district administration more time to plan a realistic way to do this and teachers more time to prepare. Please, please, please listen and do what is right for kids. My next comment is from Sari Palumbo. I would like to ask the school committee to please hold on the 4-day school week until after the holidays. Cases are so bad right now. Though schools have shown themselves to not be a huge vector of transmission, when you have a community with such high infection rates, you won't be able to help but to have some transition in schools. With everyone back at once, 6-foot distancing will not be possible, and the children have to eat with masks off. There are only 7 school days between the proposed start of the 4-day school week and the holiday break. Please allow the hybrid model to continue during that time and revisit this plan in January. By then, hopefully the stats will be in better shape and vaccines will have started for healthcare workers. This just does not seem like the moment to take additional risks and leaves many parents with a very frightening decision to make and a long commitment to that decision. This is from Tana Murphy. I had concerns when sending my children back in September, but the difference then and now is best laid out in the numbers. These are the total new cases for the past 3 months. September, 3,043. October, 8,958. November, 22,762. With there being only 7 school days between the proposed start of the 4-day school week, which is December 14, and the holiday break, which is December 24, I implore you to table the 4-day-a-week return until after the December break. Please consider the safety of not only our students, but also our incredibly valued staff, teachers and staff. This is from Pauline Pinto. I am writing to you today to express my concerns regarding the reentry of grade 6 in the most recent survey that was sent out on this matter. A survey was sent home to the families of vets and women students on Monday, November 30th. The survey is titled Planning for 4 Days of Instruction, Middle School. I was incredibly confused by this survey, as were many of my colleagues who also closely follow your meetings. The survey asks families to choose between an interest in sending their child back for 4 days of in-person learning, the hybrid model of 2 days in-person and 2 days distance learning, or full distance learning. I do not recall ever hearing any public school committee discussion of middle school students returning to a 4-day model of in-person learning. Quite frankly, the inclusion of this question in the survey seems to be more purposeful and coordinated than an honest mistake. I would like to know how it was decided that the question of 4 days of full in-person learning would be included in the survey. Did any of you have any knowledge that this question would be included in the survey? I truly appreciate and anticipate an answer to this question. Furthermore, Rhode Island is currently experiencing a 9% rate of infection. With the rapid rate of transmission and the holidays upon us, now would be the time to table further discussion of a middle school return and a 4-day week for elementary until at least 2 weeks after the new year. While I would normally appreciate such dialogue, I think it's irresponsible in the face of COVID numbers, the rate of infection, and family gatherings during this holiday season. We will need that time to ascertain that we are not opening the doors and contributing to the community spread of COVID. This is from Christine Harden. Yesterday, I received a public safety alert. In case you didn't receive it, the following was sent. Hospitals at capacity due to COVID. Help the front line by staying home as much as possible for the next 2 weeks. Work remotely if you can. Avoid social gatherings. Get tested. If we all decrease our mobility, we will save lives. At this point in time, wouldn't you agree that we all need to focus on the safety and well-being of the students, teachers, and staff in this district? Increasing the number of students in our school buildings right now would be irresponsible. Now is not the time to consider full in-person learning. The public safety alert is a warning. When are we going to start listening? Let's decrease our mobility and save lives. The teachers and staff within our school buildings are not immune to this virus. The hospitals are full. Please take all of this into consideration as you discuss our future. This comment is from Darlene Netko. Because children now account for 1 in 11 new cases of COVID-19, and in The Lancet, a study based on data from 131 countries shows that schools are a source of spread. Now is not the time for 4 days a week for elementary students or for grade 6 students to enter schools. Now is the time for the entire district to go virtual until January. Watching the news, anyone can see that the public is not adhering to social distancing, traveling, or quarantining guidelines. Students are part of that public. Based on anecdotal evidence, they are transmitting the virus, even if they are not showing any signs of it. Although most of the medical community insists that schools are safe, personal experiences of teachers and students in schools indicate otherwise. Teachers in Warwick schools have contracted COVID-19 from their students. Perhaps the experts do not have all the data. In Rhode Island, the governor and Rhode Island Department of Health have been negligent with testing and contact tracing of people in schools. No one can definitively say that schools are the safest place to be. Does that statement even make sense? You know that illnesses spread very easily in schools. Is there something magical about COVID-19? The only thing magical is the thinking that accompanies the assertion that schools are safe. They are no safer than other public gatherings. Schools are not in the NBA bubble. There are no daily rapid tests, temperature checks, or forms for students to complete before they enter a school building. If you don't want to go virtual until January, then the prudent decision is to go virtual for at least 2 weeks, the length of the governor's pause, and enough time to impose a 14-day quarantine on everyone. At least halt the 4-day a week for elementary and the grade 6 entrance. The numbers in the city and the state are astronomical, and the state has opened field hospitals. Just because Gina has abandoned her school opening metrics and common sense does not mean Warwick has to abandon them. And my last comment is from Sarah DeRocher. In regards to the discussion of elementary schools going back 4 days a week, is now really the best time to consider this. Emergency alerts are getting pushed to our phones. Field hospitals have now opened and are accepting patients because operating hospitals are at capacity. Rhode Island has the distinction of being the only state on the East Coast in the severe outbreak category for coronavirus, according to COVID Act Now. Warwick's COVID rates have doubled within 2 weeks, and as of November 21st, was at 591 cases per 100,000. Rates nationwide are expected to increase over the next 2 weeks due to incubation time related to Thanksgiving festivities. The CDC lists a few important actions to take in order to prevent the spread of COVID, including washing your hands, wearing a mask, and staying at least 6 feet away from others. The purpose of having only 50% of students in a classroom is to allow for social distancing. with community spread being as severe as it is, taking away a critical prevention method seems rather imprudent, wouldn't you agree? This discussion should be tabled until mid-January. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Bonet. This time we go to item G, school committee correspondence and donations. We received a donation from the Warwick Neck Improvement Association for Warwick Neck School. They gave $500 for holiday gifts for families in need. So that was very kind of them, and we truly appreciate it. Recommended actions. Number 1, approval of the minutes of public sessions for November 10th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Approval of warrants for December 1, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Announcements, personnel as presented. Dr. Thornton and Ms. Ruggieri.
Ms. Ruggieri, please.
Good evening. Tonight we have several appointments and retirements. First, I'd like to do the appointments. We have Ahmad Ali as a math teacher at Pilgrim High School, effective November 2nd. We have Tara Randall, a school nurse teacher, effective December 9th. And Heather Smith as an elementary secretary at Oakland Beach, effective November 23rd. I'd like to welcome them all to the district. And we have a few appointments of current employees to new positions. We have Robert Baxter as the Executive Director of Finance and Operations, effective January 1st, 2021. Carla McGovern as the Transportation Coordinator, effective November 16th, 2020. And Adam Haywood as the Middle School Principal at Veterans Middle School, effective December 1st, 2020. So congratulations to all. And I have several classified retirements with a lot of longevity with these folks. We have Michelle Morrison, who is a teacher assistant in the EL program. Her retirement is effective December 18th, and she has just shy of 23 years of service with Warwick. James Farley, the building and maintenance mechanic at Pilgrim, effective December 18th. He has 30 years of service. Deborah Mayman, teacher assistant kindergarten at Wyman, effective December 18th, with 34 years of service. Marianne Giansanti, a clerk typist at the Career Center, effective December 25th, with just shy of 16 years of service. Carol Edwards, a teacher assistant in kindergarten at Park, effective December 18th, with 32 years of service. And Rose DeSilas, teacher assistant kindergarten at Lippet, effective December 23rd, with 26 years of service. So that's a collective 161 years of service to the Warwick School Department with those folks. So I'd like to thank them all and wish them well in their future endeavors.
Absolutely. That's a lot of experience.
It sure is. And we do have one resignation. It's Heather Basler. She's a teacher assistant in the BIT team, currently at Wyman School, effective December 11th. And we wish her well as well.
Congratulations and good luck to all of our retirees. Welcome to new positions and to positions in other areas of the district, to our new people and to our people who are being promoted. Congratulations, everyone.
Madam Chair, I just do need a vote for the retirements and the resignation, please.
Move approval of the retirements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it, 5-0. New business.
Madam
Number
Chair, the resignations. That was on retirements. We need to vote on resignation, on the resignation.
Move approval on the resignation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you. New business, discussion action, Executive Director of Finance and Operations.
Madam Chair, good evening. First up, I'm recommending favorable action on the contract for Exec Director of Finance Operations. I'd look for the school committee for a vote on that, Madam Chair.
move favorable action.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 5-0. Discussion action, transportation coordinator contract.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, recommending favorable action on the contract for transportation coordinator.
I move favorable action.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 5-0. Discussion action, number 4, middle school assistant principal assignment.
And Madam Chair, recommending favorable action based on discussion in the exec session on the contract for middle school principal.
Move favorable action.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 5-0. Reassignment of assistant principal, middle school principal, Mr. McCaffrey. You're muted.
Madam Chair, I'm recommending the transfer of Brian McDonald to Winman Middle School as Assistant Principal of Climate and Culture.
Thank you, Mr. McCaffrey. Move favorable action.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 5-0.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and members of the school committee.
Thank you, Mr. McCaffrey. Discussion update, 4-day in-person learning survey results. Ms. Danbrook, welcome.
Madam Chair, if I could, before Ms. Danbrook and Ms. McCaffrey start, just a few quick thoughts.
Certainly.
As you all know, and heard from public comment, we all know, cases certainly are on the rise in Rhode Island. We're also in the midst of planning to get to a goal, an end in mind. We're back in school, 4 days a week, elementary, and certainly at least hybrid, middle high. But I have been working with the team. I've been telling the team, given where we are, I would now want them to model our return starting January 4th. So that would mean working towards that as an end in mind, January 4th being their 4-day-a-week goal. And then certainly in the month of December, once we have all the purifiers in, we could also, strive to go middle high hybrid. So given, where we are in Rhode Island, given our schedule of, putting the purifiers in the secondary and the planning, I just wanted to let the committee know that's our thinking. As you know, this is an ever evolving situation, but to me, it made sense to put it to January 4th. Having said that, I would not be looking to, have us not in school in our current levels. I think it is important to have kids in school, as we all know, and the medical experts still maintain, school is the best place for students in a pandemic. So I just want to get that out there. So January 4th is in your mind now as a kind of a launch point as far as what you'll hear from Ms. Danbrook and Ms. McCaffrey tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair and members of the school committee, as you know, a survey was sent to families at the beginning of last week. Families have until tomorrow to complete the survey. This survey is giving parents and guardians options for in-person learning 4 days a week or to participate in distance learning 4 days a week. The choice that the families make will be a commitment for the entire second semester of trimester. 71% of the families currently are opting for 4 days in person, and 29% of the families are opting for distance learning at this point in time. Principals will be reaching out to the families who haven't responded yet, so we can complete and know what a setup of our classrooms will be. So principals have reviewed, principals had reviewed their school plans to reflect students attending school 4 days a week. They've shared these plans with families. Every school principal did that already. And Kim and Kevin continue to work on staffing. I know Kim has made progress on building aids, and Kevin has also made progress on staffing. So we are still hiring more staff, looking for substitutes. And again, as Dr. Thornton said, we are currently looking at a start date of the week of January 4th, and the first day of school would be Tuesday, January 5th. Are there any questions?
Madam
Any
Chair.
questions? Mr. Cornell.
So Ms. Danbrook, so regarding the surveys, like, we have a serious problem right now because like surveys are being sent out and we on the school committee are not being notified about it. So like the only, like the two surveys, for example, that was recently sent out, I only found out about them because parents and teachers emailed us about it. Like I had no clue they even were sent out, like about like the tentative date about, that was like, I think maybe December 14th, about when 4-day in-person would start in elementary, that was sent out. Also the 6th grade 4-day person, which we never even discussed, was also sent out. And I'm tired of getting this information after everyone else gets it. And I still haven't got to any of the results from any of the previous surveys sent out. So at this point, we might have to wait till the next agenda, which is action. I think we need to take a vote that all surveys and anything sent out goes to the school committee, because to be honest, I'm just tired of this, because we need to know what's going on. And I feel like some of these surveys are just baiting the parents and teachers of the city, because I'm getting emails from parents and teachers who are freaking out for this, and because they think this is going forward, but we have no clue this is even being sent out, and we don't always agree with some of the surveys and what they're asking. So this is a problem and we need to rectify this.
Madam Chair,
Madam,
Superintendent?
if memory serves, Madam Chair, I think we had this conversation a meeting or two ago where some folks on the committee wanted to have license to create the survey. And then in the end, the committee didn't do that and told admin to go ahead and do their job, which we did.
Madam Chair,
Stanbrook?
I'd like, yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Cornell, that you feel you didn't know about the survey, but I did discuss it at a previous school committee meeting. I wanted you to know that the survey was going out and the purpose of the survey. So that's why I'm reporting tonight the results that I have so far, and on December 8th, I will update you after the survey has been finalized.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Cornell?
So, Ms. Stanbrook, just from now on, like 2 days before the surveys are sent out, can you send it to us first so at least we can see them and know what's being sent out? So it's just for information purposes, because I don't want to hear this from teachers and parents anymore that this is being sent out, and that's the first I'm hearing about this. I know you probably understand. I'm just kind of tired of this, and we're supposed to be making decisions, and we need to know what's happening in our community in the school district, and this is a problem. So could you do that?
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, happy. Mr. Adams?
Just in response to that, I'm assuming that when the surveys are drafted, they how long is it between the completion of the survey to when they are sent out to the parents, teachers, whoever may go out to?
Madam Chair, I can speak to my survey that just went out. I worked with the team who put the survey together. It's a pretty basic survey because we just want to know what families want to do as far as sending children to school for 4 days a week or distance learning. So we probably crafted the survey on a Thursday and sent it out the beginning of the following week.
Okay, I just said that because as I do understand Mr. Cornell's concern, I don't want to prolong anything for if a survey is done and then we have to wait to send it out. I would appreciate getting the survey at the same time at least, because I haven't gotten them before. I believe I've requested them, but I think it's important to get that information out there and to get the information back, but I would just like to know what they were. I would like to know what the survey, what the questions were before getting concerns back. You know what I mean?
Madam Chair, I certainly will share all surveys moving forward with members of the school committee ahead of time.
Thank you so much, Assistant Superintendent. Ms. Cobden?
I'm just going to agree with both Mr. Cornell and Mr. Adams. I'm glad that you're going to send them to us now, because it is kind of embarrassing when we get contacted by our constituents and our teachers and we don't know what they're talking about. And it just makes us look disconnected, and we definitely don't need connection right now. So I really appreciate that, Mr. Hummer.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Mr. Testa.
Thank you. Ms. Danbrook, thank you. I will, in general, agree with my colleagues. I'm concerned about us injecting ourselves into the process, which I don't think is appropriate. I know Mr. Cornell said to get the surveys before you send them out, but the way I view this is it's your job by state law to administer day-to-day operations of the district. And that would include putting surveys together. Whatever questions you want to put on the survey, put the questions on the survey. I don't feel a school committee, I'm concerned that the school committee, if we have advance notification of the questions, maybe not necessarily this committee, but in future committees, that they may try to influence the questions, and I don't think that's our job. I think it's your job to put the questions out, and we did get some emails about the secondary one about 4 days, but my reply to that individual was, I'd be disappointed if administration wasn't exploring every single option and then bringing what their best thinking is to us, as opposed to you indicating what you want to do and then a school committee potentially saying, no, don't do that. So, I think it's kind of a cart before the horse thing. Having said that, I think once the surveys are sent, maybe we can just be looped in when they're sent out, we get them at the same time. But it would be nice if, as you compile them along the way, if it goes out for 2 weeks to 3 weeks at certain periods of time, then just update the committee as to what the returns are, to date, just so we know what's going on. But again, I just want to make sure that we're not looking to influence the questions or even the subject matter of the survey, because I don't think that is what our purview is. I think our purview is to have you do all of that and then come to us, and then, we can say yay or we can say no. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Compton?
I would just to add to that, I don't feel like personally for me that I want to interject in any way. I just want, like Mr. Adams said, the day it goes out, at least send it to us, because then we know what's going on. And when someone contacts us, we can have a discussion about it. It's very hard to have a discussion about it when you haven't seen something. I think that is helpful for us as the people making decisions and people asking questions on it. I don't want to write the questions nor influence. I just want to be aware of what I just would like to see it, and I can get it the same day. But if we don't get it, I'm like, I haven't seen this yet. I mean, we look disconnected, and I don't think we need to be disconnected, especially during a pandemic.
Agreed.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Cornell?
Yeah, I'm content with us receiving the same time as everyone else. I just want to receive the survey, so we're not caught off guard. So I'm fine if you send it at the same time as everyone else, as long as we get it from now on. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I have one more question for Ms. Danbrook that I forgot to ask.
Mr. Testa?
Thank you. Ms. Danbrook, in this survey, this was elementary, so do we know how many respondents, or is this a continuation from the last one? This
was sent out last week. So this is the first one that we sent out to see who wants to come in person 4 times a week. Currently, we have about 70% response rate.
Okay, and we're reaching out to those that didn't respond just to see if just to make sure that give them one last chance.
Yes,
Okay.
the principals are sending connected ed messages out to families to remind them to complete the survey.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Compton?
Ms. Damrick, I have a question. The one that was forwarded to me was for how many people in 7th and 8th grade wanted in-person learning, distance learning, hybrid, or like 4-day. I mean, that's the one I got, and I had no clue that was going out.
Oh, that wasn't from me. The one I sent out was about elementary, 4 days a week, or distance learning 4 days a week, that I spoke about at our last meeting.
Right. I think the one that we're all referring to is the one that was regarding middle schools.
Okay,
Mr. McCaffrey?
that's coming up in another.
Okay. Okay. I think I think that's the one that we're all referring to, not the one about elementary, where we're aware of that. But we were a little bit taken by receiving a survey that we didn't know that was being discussed. And, you know, I agree, we need to look, like Mr. Testa said, we need to look forward into the future and stuff. But to get that without knowing was a little shocking, I think, to most of us.
Thank you. Anything further? There being none, we will go to discussion action number 7, discussion and action, grade 6 reopening update.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the school committee.
Madam Chair, is that number 6? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Number 6 is kindergarten grade 5 4-day week update. Okay.
Yeah, so I think I answered both of them with
Seems that we
number
took them
5.
both.
Yeah. But just that,
Everybody satisfied with that? Number 5 and 6. Survey in kindergarten grade 4, grade 5 4-day a week update.
That is the January 4th that Dr. Thornton mentioned previously, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 7, discussion action, grade 6 reopening update. Mr. McCaffrey.
Madam Chair, members of the school committee, I will definitely forward you the survey that went out as of yesterday. The survey was basically used to collect information necessary to properly plan in staffing and setting up the operation of the schools. For example, we have to properly plan for food service, PPE, also special education busing as a few examples. The survey was very simple. It was what grade are you in and looking at what your level of interest is in for continuing on distance learning, hybrid 2 days, or 4 days for a 4-day return. Since it was initiated yesterday and it closes on Friday, we at this time I can't give you accurate information on what the response rates were, but I would look forward to giving you that information at the next school committee meeting. Once it closes, we plan on analyzing the data, meeting with the team, reconvening with the team again, and hopefully with the data, we can properly plan for a safe return, whether it's 2 days, 4 days, or whether things accelerate and we end up staying distance learning, we can properly plan. We have been meeting with the teams at the middle level, the high school level on a regular basis. We've also been working with the Department of Education. As the guidance has changed a bit since July, we've been making modifications as necessary in our preparation. We're looking forward to the responses from the survey, and definitely be looking forward to sharing that information with you as we move towards hopefully an opening sometime in January. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Ms. Cobden?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey, I think the conversation we just had with Lindy Ambrook actually applies to the survey that went out, as far as I know. It was that one. So if you could still also do what we just agreed upon, just send it to us out that day so we know about it, because we were all blindsided by it.
Absolutely.
I
Definitely.
appreciate that, Mr. McCaffrey.
We probably would like to release a survey for the high school level at the end of this week, so I'll make sure I forward that to you as well with the superintendent's permission.
Okay, we'd really appreciate it. It makes it much easier for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCaffrey. Any,
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I may.
Shasta?
Thank you. Mr. McCaffrey, thank you. I just have a question. Since now we're looking at January 4th, and, you know, for the record, I don't have an issue with that. This is your call to make. It's not our call to make. This is your call to make. And if in your best estimation, that's the good date, that's a good date with me. I'm fine with that. But having said that, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I know we have grade 6 reopening and then grade 7 through 12. Dr. Thornton mentioned that perhaps between now and then we have a discussion about the secondaries in hybrid overall. So in some way that grade 6 will roll into 7 and 8, right? Because if we're going to have that conversation.
Yes.
Right,
Absolutely.
okay. Right, and I would, but personally, I full 4-day in secondary level is not something I can wrap my head around, knowing what we know, with the secondary schools. But okay, so you've answered my question. So we'll have future conversations about this. Thank you.
I agree with you, Mr. Tester. And initially in July, when we were asked to submit plans, we had to prepare for different levels, and that's why we're still planning for different levels. As it changes, we're ready to move at different levels, and we're not rolling out a 4-day plan in January to scare anyone. We're just following through with our planning to make sure that we're ready to go when the virus changes and when the climate changes around here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McCaffrey.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Cornell?
So I just want to say, just for the public's concern, so the January 4th, as of now, it's a tentative date. So that means it's subject to change and also will be subject to approval later on. And also just to be clear, to coronavirus, it is in the schools, despite how what some other people are saying. For example, this week, 19 staff members have tested positive, 63 staff members are in quarantine, 16 students have tested positive, 166 students are in quarantine, and that's a total of 269 people. So just so everyone knows, something to think about, coronavirus is in our schools, and it is not as safe as some others might lead you to believe. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Superintendent?
I'll concur, Mr. Cornell. The January 4th date certainly is a recommended date, which we'll certainly bring to you for your review, right, in January. In terms of the coronavirus, in schools, in the community, we certainly know we have the virus in Rhode Island, in the country, but I would just reinforce the committee, we have to be grounded in science and our medical experts. Brown University is a leading force in the country on this conversation. The experts have said consistently, schools are the safest place for children, especially K-8. So I would just urge the committee to keep looking at the medical experts and the science who are right in our backyard. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Adams?
I will agree with Dr. Thornton, but I would also point out too that the gentleman that Mr. Testa brought up a few weeks ago, Dr. Ajish.
Dr. Jha?
Yeah, that guy. When he put out that article, he also states that we need to pay attention to the amount of infections per 100,000, which is on the rise. And I just thought of this as well, because Dr. Thornton, in terms of the January 4th date, are you going to be looking at the recent, like the recent, as in like with the next week or so, cases that come in because of Thanksgiving? We don't know how many people saw each other. I imagine will be reflected in Christmas and maybe New Year's.
Absolutely. As you know, we have to plan for a date uncertain in the future. You're absolutely right, though. The surge on top of the surge that may come could change this conversation. But on December 1st, we're having a conversation now looking at January 4th. That could certainly change, but we have to shoot for a goal in mind. So to us, that's the most prudent goal as of this date, looking at January. But you're right, it could totally change based on what happens this month.
Right. Like we could see a huge spike in numbers from Thanksgiving, and I imagine the numbers, if the numbers spike for Thanksgiving, I imagine they're going to spike for Christmas or New Year's.
And that'll come next week for Thanksgiving.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Early right now. I was, Superintendent, I was am a little bit concerned with the January 4th date because of those spikes. So I don't want anything put in stone. 2 weeks from Christmas would be the week of the 10th, which would possibly bring us back for the 12th.
And Madam Chair, one possibility could be, as we get more data in the month of December, maybe the committee at a future meeting would look to phase the reentry based on the data, based on what's happening in December, right? I don't think we don't know all the information yet on this date and time, but maybe a phasing approach is what you would look at based on our data coming in. I don't think we can know everything today, but we have to plan still for that date in mind.
That's fine, and I concur with that. It's apt to change with more data. Anyone else? Anyone else like to speak on this? Discussion action grades.
Madam Chair, Ms. Cobden had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. I put it up at the last minute. I just want to agree with my colleagues, what Ms. Bacchus just said. And I definitely think January 4th is, we have to go by what's going on at that time, and nothing can be put into stone. I think there's it's smart. I think Mr. Cornell, I thought that was good of you to put some of the statistics up, numbers that are going on just right now, because a lot of people that I speak to, they don't.
Thank you.
I think we just lost her.
I believe she froze up, Madam Chair.
Okay,
holidays with people.
there she is. Hello, looked like you took a nap.
Am I back? I don't know
You're
where.
back. You're back.
I just want to discuss. I'm very nervous about these dates and things like that, and I know that we have to approve them.
We lost you again,
Just the audio, though.
just the audio. She's not muted.
Whether we bring some back in or whatnot. But I think our community needs to understand that there are numbers in our schools, and we do have issues, and it is affecting our staff, and it is affecting our children. And I want people to be confident about sending their kids to school when they've been exposed to it, or they have it. We've had an incident of that going on, where someone sent their child to school, and now 2 people are very sick from it. So it's nerve-wracking for everybody, and it's just odd. Like, first we're getting yelled at to bring kids back into school, and now people are imploring us to not bring kids in school. And we do need to stay with the facts. We do need to go with the numbers, and right now the numbers aren't looking very good. So I think we need to just hold off until our numbers are better. Thank you.
Thank you. This time we'll go to number 7. Discussion actions, grade 7 to 12 update. Mr. McCaffrey.
Madam Chair, members of the school committee, as I previously stated, we're surveying the members of the middle and high school level. High school level survey won't go out till the end of this week. And once the survey draft is completed, I will make sure I forward it to you. The purpose of the survey is to properly plan for staffing, for preparing for PPE, food service, as well as special education busing. Without this information, we can't adequately plan to operate a school efficiently. We're meeting with the administrative teams, as I previously stated, as well as RIDE, to make sure we're current with our following their guidance. And we look forward to sharing more information with you at the December 8th school committee meeting.
Thank you. Discussion?
as well as the survey prior to Friday.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I think we need to be very careful between now and the end of next week in case there is a surge. And I know that a couple of our schools have had some big surges. And if we have to close them, we have to close them. Number 9 has been tabled and will be, because the bid isn't ready, so that will be put on for December 8th next week. As this goes on, I've looked at the calendar, and I think that we need to have also a meeting on Tuesday, the 15th, and on the 29th of December to look at what's going on and how we're going to, how things are going to impact the new year and what we should be doing as far as returning students to school or not. Do any of you share that concern, or?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Mr. Testa?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, nobody knows what tomorrow brings, so I think the planning goes forward as if we want to go in at least elementary in January 4th, and we react to what happens between now and then. So,
Right. We just need to, I think we
but
need
we
to
should
be on
meet.
top of it.
Yeah, we should meet. I have no problem with the meetings.
Okay. I just think we should stay on top of it so that, we support the administration and we have the information necessary to make those decisions that are best for the district and for everyone concerned. Ms. Cobden? Did you want to say something?
No, I didn't have my hand up that time.
Oh, okay.
But I do agree with you. I think we have to, like I said earlier, we have to prepare for everything. And that way we're all set. We don't know when vaccinations are coming. They're saying one thing, they're saying another. So we do have to be prepared. I would hope that like dates and numbers like that can't be thrown out to the public, because we're getting reactions from that. People are nervous. There's a lot of people now that are backing out and feeling like, oh, well, I'm fine with my kid in hybrid, but I don't want, if it goes to 4 days, I can't do that. It makes me too nervous. So we don't want to alert people with the work going forward. I think it needs to go forward. And I fully support all of you coming up with plans for every situation. I think that's where we need to be. And I think that's the accurate thing to do. I just think that as far as the public goes, we need to be cautious on what we present to them so we don't alarm anybody. That's just my opinion on that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. At this point, it appears that our meeting is almost completed. Our future meetings are monthly school committee meeting, Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Tuesday, the 15th of December, time to be announced, and Tuesday, the 29th of December, time to be announced. If you all want to put that in your schedule books. There being no further business before this committee, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We're in adjournment. Thank you.
Night.
Good night.
Be well, everyone.
Stay safe.